All right, we've got Week 18 Minnesota against the Detroit Lions. So this should be a fun game to watch. So Detroit is favored by 5.5. Detroit has already secured a playoff spot. I just have to say it again. Detroit should have beat the Cowboys. Horrible job by the referees. Just horrible. That notwithstanding, I think that Detroit's going to come out really hungry to want to beat up on a division rival here, and I'm going to take Detroit. The model likes Detroit. The model has Detroit with 70% chance of winning, which is about, look at that, about a 5.5 point spread. And then we come over here to the box plots. Is that winning margin, that margin of victory starts to widen out a bit to about 30 to 20 as well. And the confidence intervals show a clear victory. And then the Bayesian does not really change much from what the point spread over here says. So let's go ahead and take a look at the one thing I will say is, again, Detroit does not need to go out and really play hard for this one. I don't think they have much to play for other than pride. But this is the thing that kind of strikes me about this team. I think that that is what's been driving them this whole season. They've certainly had their ups and downs, but so has every other team. So let's go ahead and take a look at the performance charts here. So the thing that stands out to me here is first off, I think a lot of these numbers for Minnesota for that passing game is either garbage yards or Kirk Cousins yards. Their quarterback situation right now sucks, and it shows. Meanwhile, when you look over here for Detroit, very well balanced. They've got an excellent, consistent running game, and then they've had a balanced approach with Jared Goff. Jared Goff might not be an MVP caliber quarterback, but I think he's established himself as uh, a top 40%, if you will. Certainly not a top five quarterback, but not in your bottom five either. I think he's established himself as a steady quarterback. It just seems to me as though sometimes he's really good at hitting those guys, and other times he's just wildly off. Let's come over here to the performance charts. So uh, they seem to be doing a pretty good job of protecting Jared Goff. Meanwhile, Minnesota's really struggling to protect whoever their quarterback is. And then what you really see with Minnesota is going to be those interceptions right down here. Both teams, when they seem to find it, can have some explosiveness. Again, I think that some of those numbers come back to Kirk Cousins. However, as they shifted to a running game for Minnesota, they picked up some of that slack. But you really see that upward capability over here for Detroit. When we come over here, this here is a new table that I put in. So this is actuals, they're scoring. So this is 0.4 versus points against. So when you look at Minnesota, the red line is the average. So their average is, look at this, just very consistently bad offense. And then you come over here, you have a better defense. They are better than average. That's so that when that average is below the average, that means that they're better than average. But they're also kind of inconsistent. Then when you come over here, you can obviously see that Detroit, they've got a solid all the way offense all the way around. And just keep in mind, I don't use their scoring in the model whatsoever. I like to use it as a way to see, well, hey, how can I explain how some of these other numbers might work? What are the outcomes? And that's one of the things I would point out is sometimes the passing yards and the rushing yards might not look like it's that much different. But then when you take in consideration the sacks, the interceptions, the fumbles, and the big plays, that's when you start seeing those increases in the percentage of victories. Because realistically speaking, the overall talent level in the NFL is really rather close. Even when you take the worst team to the best team, they are exceptionally good, and the parity there is quite good. But Detroit, they've got a solid team, and this should be a fun game to watch. Even though Detroit, and we'll see what Detroit decides to do. They might very well go ahead and bench some of their better players. I'm not entirely sure what their motivation play is because I don't think that they can winning get them anything either. So, but as conference or as division rivals go, this could be a fun one. So anyhow, good luck. If you like what you listen to, click like and subscribe. If you got a question, comment, drop me a note.